Good, good morning, and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name's Ray, the Market Trader. And before we begin, we'll need to take a look at our risk disclosure. Okay, just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published by the Market and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided or contained herein is intended as investment advice. An offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. Future trading does carry a substantial risk and is not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more than their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right. Good morning. Good morning, Dog. So now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure here, guys, we're going to go ahead and turn our attention to the financial news, okay, and see what financial news ahead that could potentially impact the markets, okay? So we're going to go ahead and do just that. We're going to open up our financial portal here, Financial Juice, take a look and see what news do we have in the horizon or has already been published that has or will impact the markets or has the potential of impacting the markets. Okay. All right. So so we start off with some earnings here. Looks like we have Target reporting here earnings or has already reported some earnings. We have the EIA crude oil report, okay, inventory report for crude oil is taking place today at 10:30. We have the 20-year bond high yield and 20-year bond bid to cover publishing results here at 1 p.m. Eastern. But I would say that the granddaddy of the news event that has the biggest potential in the markets is the FOMC meeting. Okay, so we have potential interest rate decision in the horizon coming up here at 2 p.m. Okay, 2 p.m. Eastern. Okay, that has the potential of affecting the markets here. And then we close out the day with some Fed members, Bostic speaking, but the expectation is that this is not going to have a big impact on the markets, but nonetheless, it's listed here. Okay, and then this is all ahead of even more news. Tomorrow we have jobless claims, existing jobless claims, PMI, existing home sales changes coming up tomorrow. Okay. So fair amount of news, okay, as we come into the markets again. I think FOMC by far is the one that probably a lot of people are actually keeping an eye on and see if they get any sort of indication here. And I would say maybe even the markets might be even reacting to it already. Okay, so let's go ahead now that we have an understanding of what's ahead of us from the news perspective. Let's go ahead and turn our attention. Okay, let's turn our attention to the gold market to start, and then we'll move through the other markets here. Okay, so let's go ahead and pause here for a moment, and we'll turn our focus to hey, Wetlands, how are you? We'll turn our attention to our portal. Okay, so let's go ahead and find our portal in this maze of monitors here. Okay, so I believe that is it there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move this to this location here. Okay. All right. Hopefully that's visible. I believe it's visible. Yes. Okay. So right now I have a chart of a chart of silver, but we're going to go ahead and turn our attention here to gold. Okay, so we'll open this up, looking at the gold market here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and remove some of our drawings here. We're going to take a look at the daily chart here and get a sense of what the market is doing here. Okay, well, it looks like we are in a bearish leg. Okay, in a bearish leg in an otherwise consolidation pattern in the gold market. Now we've been tracking this this ascending wedge here for some time and continue to track it. Okay, doesn't seem like we're looking to move away from it just yet. Okay, you can see that we are in this consolidation pattern in the downward leg. Now we are coming into an area. Okay, we are coming into an area that's important, I would say, for the bulls to remain at least in this consolidation pattern. Okay, so we're at the this particular trend line. Okay, and we've created a little bit of kind of bearish structure here of late in the gold. Okay, so daily is looking, I would say, neutral to bearish. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the 4-hour chart here. Okay, 4-hour chart. Let's go to open that up here, so you can see that same pattern of bearish price action here. Okay, so of late, if we were just to look at the more recent activity, right, you can see that we continue to make lower lows and lower highs. Okay, that's what a bearish trend is. So we look for that, and indeed, we're getting that kind of price action. Again, like I said, we are up against this trend line here up at the bottom that could potentially cause the market to rally. We are seeing a little bit of a loss of momentum, maybe. Okay, other than maybe this area here, we did see a little bit of a loss of momentum here to the downside, but it looks like maybe we may have picked up some steam here, maybe picked up some momentum here of late. Okay, let's go ahead and drop down to the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart, we're going to do a little bit of volume analysis and get a sense for where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. So we're going to go ahead and first open up our fixed range volume profile, get a sense for where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. Gap fills, what time do you consider with gold or settlement time? Yeah, so what lens? We'll take a look. I'll show you exactly here. Okay, so the market is now indeed open. Okay, so the first thing that we need to kind of establish here is where's the settlement price is. Okay, so this is settlement from yesterday, and we opened lower. Okay, so there is the potential, right? If we're thinking gap fill, right? So this would be the target for that fill, right? Right now we're opening up at the lower end of the range. Okay, and so the gap fill play would entail that we would kind of traverse some percentage of this range that was established. Okay, so going from London to London, I'm just going to go ahead and turn this to regular trading hours here. Okay, so you can see, right, this, right, there's this this is the close from yesterday, right, and this is the open, right? Let me actually remove some of my drawings. I might be a little bit off here. Okay, this is probably a little bit better. Okay, so yeah, looking at this, basically what we're looking for, although I'm not seeing honestly that much in the way of a gap. Okay, you see this is kind of a gap that wasn't filled. This gap here potentially filled partially, right? So not really seeing a gap at the moment here. Okay. All right. Although there is some distance away from settlement price, right? Settlement price is yesterday's. Yeah, from open to settlement, right? That's generally the idea. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and open up fixed range volume profile here and just get a sense for where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up. Let's open up the extended trading hours here now. Okay, we've already kind of reached that gap. Okay, so we had a close below. Okay, this is our settlement price from below from yesterday. Okay, and now we opened above. So this is telling us that let's see if I turn this off again. Sorry, now I'm curious. Okay, I don't know why we don't have. Let's see. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, I'm dealing with a little bit of delayed data here. So in any case, guys, the idea is that settlement, I guess, was down here, and we're already at that level. Okay, so probably not a good settlement play here. Okay. Niels, I don't know if we necessarily bounced off this line yet. But we're at it. Okay, we're at a trend line. Okay, so let's go ahead and do my fixed range volume profile here, guys. Okay, and see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action here. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. Still dealing with some data issues. Looks like. So let's. Okay, so this is Tuesday. Okay. This is Wednesday. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at Tuesday here and see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. Okay. So we're going to go over here. This is Tuesday. This is the start of Tuesday. We're going to go into the electronic trading hours here. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit so I had turned off extended trading hours. Okay. I was looking at regular, and I am also dealing with a little bit of delayed data that I need to sort out on this platform. Okay. Okay. All right. So here we go. I've been trying to get this fixed range volume profile up. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So right here, drag this across to the close. Okay, so here you are. You can see that we're above value, right? We opened above value from the prior day, indicating that we are in some sort of bullish, a potential bullish move in this market, right? So we have been seeing of late, in the daily as well as the 4-hour, that we were coming up on this area here at the low end of value. I think I was looking at the daily and the 4-hour with replay mode still on, so I apologize for that. So it looks like we have already reacted off the bottom of this trend line. Price is above our value area high here. I'm going to open up my VWAP. We're above VWAP as well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take a look and see where our anchored VWAP is on this. So we'll maybe start off here around the start of London here. Okay, so the price is above that as well. And then we'll go ahead and open up our, let's see, a 15-minute time frame here and open up our initial balance here. We have at least one 15-minute bar here. So you can see that the start of the initial balance is also on the upper end of the range. Now, I will say that we are coming into an area that could be resistant to price here. Okay, we have a relatively narrow initial balance range, but that could be as a result of the fact that we have FOMC, which has the potential of impacting the gold market today. Okay, so that's something we need to keep in mind. So we are coming into an area of some resistance above here. Okay, that could cause price to retrace here a bit. I would say that we are a bit extended to the upside. Okay, we have a lot of overnight. So let's take a look at that. Right, let's open up the initial balance for different time zones and see what the market was able to do in those various time zones, okay, or sessions. So if you look at Tokyo, okay, Tokyo offered a very nice extension to the upside, okay, in this market, right? Asia took gold higher. So lot of longs in this market, okay. If we open up the let's see, the London session. Okay, you can see that London also broke above initial balance. All right, so again, market sentiment in this market remains At least right now, it seems to be a rather bullish here. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead now and take a look at crude oil, and then we'll move on to the equity markets, which I know everybody is kind of chomping at the bit to understand a bit more. So again, looking at the daily here. Okay, so here we are. We're going to remove some of our drawings here. Okay, again, it appears that we are in some sort of bearish structure in this market on the daily, right? We're making lower lows and lower highs. I'm going to do a little bit of a measure here. I think I had forecasted 56 is kind of the ultimate target here, I would say, for this market, because that's the area that I'm seeing the last area of maybe some support, 56. We have an intermediate area here, I would say, at 60. Okay, in this market, right? So that would be another kind of logical area where we could potentially see some buyers in this market. Okay, moving down to the 4-hour chart. Okay, for our chart, we're going to go ahead and remove the initial balance range here for a moment. You can see that we remain in this kind of bearish structure here to the downside. Okay, we are maybe consolidating here, maybe a little bit more of late. I'm seeing a lot more in the way of overlapping price action of late here around this 61.50, 61.50, maybe as high as 63 by 62.70. So we are kind of a little bit in the range. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart and see. Right. So sure enough, right, you see that we are in some sort of range here, right? How do I know I'm in the range? Well, if I can capture this market in a rectangle, well, that's telling me that I'm in some sort of range, right? If price is contained inside a rectangle, then I'm in some sort of range. Okay. So right now, crude oil appears to be in the range, say from 61.55 all the way to 62.80. Right, we've been in this range since August 17th. Okay, and we've remained in this range for some time. Okay, let's remove this and take a look at our fixed range volume profile here. Okay, looking at the fixed range volume profile, we'll start with say yesterday's price action here, starting right about here, dragging that across to the close. Okay, so you can see right now it appears that there's obviously some interest here to the bullish side in anticipation of the EIA report. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up the initial balance range here for let's see, this is London. Let's take a look at Asia and see what Asia was able to do with this market. So looking at this, looks like Asia was able to drive price higher. It came back to retest. This would have been a nice little entry here at middle of the night here, but we got a nice little pullback to IB high and rallied from it. Now we are maintaining above, okay, VWAP here. I'm just going to change this to 15 minutes here, get maybe another additional candle here. 15-minute fit. So we are above VWAP. Looking at the anchored VWAP here. We're also, let's see, this is start of London right about there. Okay, so kind of a little bit of a mixed bag here with, maybe take this back one more candle here right about there. Okay, so mixed bag here, right? We have price above our daily VWAP and below the VWAP that was generated for London. Okay, we're about 4 or 5 minutes away from the initial balance range establishing here for the crude oil market, but the market, at least for now, I would say probably showing a little bit of signs of weakness up against this area of resistance, right? We reacted away from it one time, came back to the same level again, and now reacting again. But we are still above some areas that would indicate that, that maybe market sentiment is a bit more bullish than of late, right? So I would say as long as we remain above the VWAP, above the IB high, say, of London, then I would say that maybe the market continues, maybe continues to stay in range here, certainly until the EIA report before we get any sort of significant move in this market. All right. So let's go ahead now and take a look at the NASDAQ. Okay, we'll start off with a daily chart here. Okay, so you can see that looks like we are in some sort of at least recently some sort of bearish swing in this market. Again, if I'm looking at this, from a more kind of holistic point of view, I know that we're seeing some bearish price action, but really, is this really bearish? Right? It's still maintaining some structure here to the upside, right? So I have an area here. We haven't really made any new lows. I mean, we've had lower candles, but we haven't had any, I guess on the daily at least, we haven't broken any sort of daily structure. Okay. So we are at an area here around 22,300 level, which has the potential of being supportive. Okay. So this area right here has the potential of being supportive. Okay, right about here. Right now we have another little area just below it, so around 23,100. So this area up here is 23,000, say 316. Okay, this has shown to be maybe an area where we could find some support in this market. We do see that maybe we do have maybe some interest on the downside. Okay, well, that'll become clearer when we move into our 4-hour chart, but we'll take a look. Okay, so 4-hour chart. Yeah, you can see, let's go ahead and turn off initial balance. Initial balance is not going to come in play here for another 30 minutes here. But you can see that of late, right, looking of late over the last, say, a couple of days here, right, or more, we've maybe created a little bit of structure here to the downside. Okay, now we've come into an area where we could potentially see some support here. So this is a first area, right? You see that we've reacted away from this area before around 23,360. Okay, we've reacted away from this level before, and now the question is it going to be supportive now? Right. So we have a bullish engulfing candle that closed. Okay, right before our the London session. Okay. Now the question is this going to offer us maybe a bounce off of this level? If not, then the next logical level for me is this level down below here around 23,090. Okay, so if this doesn't hold, this would be the next logical level, and then ultimately down here at 22,900. Okay, so these are kind of three levels. If buyers are going to step in, then those would be the logical levels for that to happen. All right, let's take a look at the 30-minute chart again. We'll take a look here. We'll remove some of our drawings here. And again, you can see that maybe we've come into an area maybe of some support in this market. You see that we've left behind here in the overnight some areas where maybe there is a little bit of interest here to take this market back to the upside. Okay, so again, if I were to look at this from a kind of a gap fill perspective, maybe we come back to that level above here. Okay, could has the potential of being some sort of repair day. Okay, let's go ahead and open that back up and now again. Okay, but I'm seeing that settlement price was down here, so that's really the price that we're headed to. So really not that big of a gap, honestly. Okay, for us to fill here. Okay, all right. But nonetheless, we are getting some price action that would indicate that maybe we are looking of late, at least on the shorter time frame, to rally here a bit. Okay. Now we are inside some bearish structure, so this could merely be some sort of retracement. Okay, some sort of retracement before we head lower. Okay, and so the way I'm going to track it is, okay, I'm going to track it with this bullish channel. Okay. And if I'm looking bearish, well, I need to see price break the channel to the downside. Okay, and before I'm willing to begin to consider a short trade. Okay, so let's take a look here, and we'll do a little bit of volume analysis here, and then we'll follow it up with some initial balance. Initial balance analysis as well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start at Tuesday here and working our way to the close here. All right, so you can see that we're hovering right at the edge of value here. Okay, so as we about maybe a half hour away from the open of the market here, so we're hovering right at the edge of value. So, and then this is our settlement price from yesterday. Okay, So the question now becomes is if we do accept value, right? If price remains in value, then we have the potential of price rotating through value. Okay. I'm going to call out maybe some areas of interest here. So again, so we have the VWAP, right? Prices above VWAP. I'm going to go ahead and add our anchored VWAP here to this discussion here for London. Okay, London is right about there. Okay, so we're technically above that as well. And then we're going to do a little bit of initial balance analysis here. Okay, for Tokyo. Okay, so Tokyo took the market lower. Okay, so we had a nice little extension trade. Okay, so for those who trade Asia, we had a nice little extension trade to the downside. Okay, you can see that here, right? Asia brought the market lower, right? Nice little extension trade to the downside. Okay, for those who are watching, right? And then London, let's see what London did with this. Okay, London really hasn't done anything with this. Okay, we haven't had a close. Let's take a look at the 15-minute here, just really quick here. We had a close. We're kind of in this kind of rangy kind of price action, right? London wasn't able to do anything with that. So there might be some longs in the Asia still in the market. Okay, so while we are again in some sort of bearish structure, we are showing some signs that maybe price could potentially rally from here. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead now and move on to the ES here. Looking at the ES, we're going to go ahead and open up the daily chart. Again, we're seeing some signs here of some. Let's see if I can remove just the drawings here. Okay, so again, a little bit of bearish action of late. Okay, maybe some sort of wedge pattern maybe developing here. I'm not sure. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Okay, let's see if I can open up a trend line here. So some sort of pattern. I was thinking this establishing here, maybe an ending diagonal. I don't know. This kind of pattern here may be a little bit ominous, honestly, for me. Okay, this could be an indication that maybe we break, eventually we break to the downside, right? This kind of pattern sometimes is a little bit daunting, right? Of maybe an indication that maybe we are in for maybe in the near future some sort of sell-off. Okay, moving into the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, we're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance. We do not need additional balance here at the moment. So we are respecting this trend line of late. Okay, we are making some higher highs and higher lows, but it does appear that we are in some sort of consolidation pattern of some sort here up at the highs. Okay, we just completed a bullish engulfing candle, and now we have a developing 4-hour candle that appears to be a continuation of that move. So, I think this will become a little bit clearer on the 30-minute chart, but we do have this 64.60 level above us. Okay, that could be resistant, right? This 4-hour level. We're going to go ahead and mark that in red. Okay, so that area right there could be an area of resistance to future price action above it, right? But there is I would say maybe a relatively clear path to it from the 4-hour perspective. Looking at the 30-minute chart. Okay, so we're right at settlement. Okay, so not really much in the way of a gap, I would say. Open will happen here in about I don't know, 26 minutes or so. Let's take a look at the fixed range volume profile. Let's get a sense for where price is in relation to yesterday's price action here. Okay, so today's Wednesday, so we're going to look for Tuesday here and get a sense for where price is in relation to yesterday's price. Okay, so again, you can see that we're inside of value. Okay, similar to the NASDAQ, right around the point of control. I would say right now we're in some sort of balance, right? We got wicks on both ends of the candle. Right now, price is above VWAP. If I add my anchored VWAP to this discussion, okay, we're also above that. So a little bit more definitive view, I would say. I think NASDAQ was giving us kind of a mixed bag here between the VWAPs. I think one was above and one was below. I think London, we were a little bit on the bearish side. So let's take a look at our initial balance. It doesn't appear that the market was able to do too much with this, but we'll look at this nonetheless. Let's take a look at Tokyo to start. Okay, and see what Tokyo was able to do with this market. Tokyo was able to bring this market lower, okay, and then with the London session, I think it probably still remained in range. So Tokyo drove price lower and then reversed. Okay, so initial view of the market was bearish, and then maybe in the middle of the session, I don't know, maybe this was an opportunity to pick up some, add to their portfolio, maybe to drive price higher here. But let's take a look at London here. Okay, see what London's initial balance looks like. So looking at London, we're basically inside the range, right? We're hovering on the top end of the initial balance range, just at the low end of value. Okay, so this might be actually a little bit further along. Okay, so 15-minute is kind of giving us a little bit of indication of some kind of range, kind of price action, but we are above both our VWAPs. So if we're thinking short, well, we need to get below our VWAPs for that leg, right? So again, similar to what I mentioned with the Nasdaq, if I'm thinking short in this market, and again, not a bad thing to be looking at given the bearish structure, I need to see price break below this channel to the downside with some volume, right? I'm not really interested in participating in a short in this kind of range. I want to see a definitive move outside the range, and then maybe I can participate in a move that could take us back down to 6,400. Okay. All right. Let's see. Now let's take a look here at the Dow. Okay, the Dow kind of tricked me. I was thinking that was headed higher, and it actually was just using that as an opportunity to go lower. But let's take a look at the daily. Daily, really a lot of indecision here, right? A lot of indecision here at the highs, right? A lot of overlapping candles here. Okay. Have made a couple of attempts to get higher, has been rejected, but really hasn't made any progress in rotating back to the downside. Okay, so with the FOMC, my expectation is that we probably continue to stay in range until the FOMC meeting. Okay, at which point we'll make probably a more definitive move, and market participants will tell us which direction they want to take the market. But right now, if I'm just looking at these set of candles, this doesn't look like a bearish, this does not look like bearish structure. Okay. If anything, we're looking at maybe more that we are in a little bit of range. All right. Looking at the 4-hour chart, again, more evidence of range kind of price action in this market. Okay. More evidence of range. Okay. So we have, a swing higher, a range, swing higher, range. Now, is this, again, we're up against some highs here. Is this the beginnings of maybe some structure that will lead us lower? Well, if so, then we need to break below this 44,883, 44,835 to really kind of add evidence to that, right? Right now, it seems we're reacting away from it. Okay, we're acting away, not continuing. So again, seeing that maybe there might be some support here around this 44,850 level. Okay. Let's go ahead and move into the 30-minute chart. Again, you can see that it appears that we are kind of grinding, I would say, a little bit to the upside. We're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile. We're going to do some analysis here for Tuesday and see where price is in relation to Tuesday here. Drag that across. Okay, so you can see we're right smack in the middle of the value. We're right at settlement. We're right at the point of control. So really at an area of balance. We're not at an edge, not in an area that I would be particularly keen on necessarily to participate in the market, right? It seems like the market is in some sort of happy place, okay, at the moment, okay? Let's go ahead and take a look at Asia here and see initial balance range to start, okay, and see what we have here. So looking at Tokyo, okay, and seeing the initial balance range, similar, very nice. Again, really nice short opportunity that developed during Asia. We reached the, 200% extension to the downside, okay, before we settled, okay, until London came in, and London has brought maybe possibly the market back up to some degree, okay. So it opened, and then we actually broke to the upside. So a little bit of a mixed bag, very clear in the Dow over some of the other equity markets. Asia brought it down, London brought it up. Nasdaq, Asia brought it down. London wasn't able to do much of anything. Maybe the top end of value, top end of the initial balance range, and I think the same was true in the ES. Okay, so much more definitive extensions of these markets in the Dow than the other equity markets. All right, so let's take one last peek here of the good morning EMS. Okay, let's just take one last peek of the markets here just to kind of summarize our view here. So looking at the gold looks like is rallying. Okay, continues to rally. We're going to go ahead and open up the initial balance range here. Oops. For today's session. Okay, so there it is. Okay, so here's the today's session. So developing a rather I would say probably slightly about average initial balance range. Okay, so market gold looking to maybe move higher. It's up against an area where we could find some resistance to price. Okay, crude oil I think is, let's see, crude oil is I would say a little bit neutral, maybe neutral to maybe bearish. Okay, we seem to be in some sort of consolidation range, potentially working our way lower in crude. Nasdaq, okay, Nasdaq, we're kind of on the lower end of the value range. We created some demand levels here. We're starting to lose a little bit of momentum to the downside, and we're starting to develop some demand zones. So I would say that maybe it's a bit neutral. I would say that I need a little bit more information as to where they want to take this market. I think Asia wanted to take this market higher. London was a little bit unclear as to what direction they wanted to take this. We had a strong bearish engulfing candle here of late, okay, and we've remained inside that bearish candle. So would not be out of the realm of possibility if we continue maybe to the downside in this market. VWAP is not really offering us much in the way of direction, right? Because we're seeing price kind of also oscillate between above and below it. Okay, so right now, my feeling is lower, right? So we have settlement price above, but I need to see price get below VWAP and get below VWAP with some conviction. Volume delta is really not telling me or not giving me any sort of indication. So there's not really much in the way of aggressive buyers or sellers in this market at the moment. Okay. All right. Take a look at ES. Okay. Similar kind of look and feel. Like I said, if I'm bearish, I'd like to see price break the channel to the downside. I'd like to see price get below VWAP and the daily VWAP in order for me to participate in a potential continuation move. Okay. To the downside. Okay. Right now, this feels like more of a retracement, right? This doesn't really feel like a impulsive move. This seems more like a correction, a little bit of a correction, maybe for the possibility of a continuation move to the downside. I'm not really impressed with the bullish price action. Lot in the way of right. So yeah. So as long as we remain in this channel, I would say that we need to err on the side of the bulls. But the moment we break the channel to the downside, I would say that I would be interested in taking maybe the market a bit lower. Okay. All right. So, and then the last market here. Yeah, pretty bullish volume here, right? But nothing, and this happened just before the close. A lot of bullish volume came into this market just before the close. So I don't know what that means. If people wanted to add to their portfolios or get out of their shorts, I'm not, or get out of something. Okay. Right. Maybe people were getting out of their short trades here. A lot of volume here. Okay. And then the last one is the Dow, and the Dow seems to be a little bit more, I would say maybe a little bit more bullish than maybe some of the other equity markets, but also coming into an area of resistance here at 45,025. Okay. So as long as we remain above 45,000, I would say that the Dow remains bullish. If we can't remain above 45,000, then I think that opens the door for the possibility of a leg lower. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much what I have for you guys. I need to do some investigations here with my platform to understand what's going on. But we'll unless there's any questions that you guys have, hopefully that gives you kind of a sense of what we're looking at here in the markets. I think gold, we're kind of, I would say, on the top end of the market. Crude oil was kind of ranging in anticipation of EIA. And then we had, I would say, maybe a little bit of a mixed bag on the equities across the board. Okay. So, there's probably, some evidence right now that maybe a day of repair today until we get the FOMC meeting. And then possibly maybe a continuation later in the session to the downside. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much all I have here. Again, I'm going to encourage you guys to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, smash the notification bell. Give me a comment or two on the portal if how this analysis is supporting your efforts in analyzing the markets. Okay. And we'll close this session as we close other sessions. Trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent day trading, guys, and we'll talk again soon.